Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Ryan, aka Mr. Vintage Andy, baby. So I think it's probably about time, now that we've covered the best and the worst of Generation 1, that we cover the best and worst of Generation 2, Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal, but we don't really like to talk about that one. One of my favorite parts of this Pokemon game was the freaking radio station that you had access to once you hit Goldenrod near the third badge. Hey. Hey. This will be a two-part video just like last time. Part 1 will be the Pokemon that I did not like whatsoever. And part 2 will be the ones that redeemed my love for Pokemon Gold and Silver. So without further ado, let's get into the top 10 worst Pokemon of Generation 2. At number 10, this is actually kind of a cool looking Pokemon, GLIGAR. You know, I really don't like repeat concepts in Pokemon or just in general. You know, Pokemon strives to be this like creative, you know, organization that a lot of Pokemon are based on certain concepts or actual animals. In this case, the only reason why GLIGAR is on my bottom 10 is because I like it as a Pokemon and I wish it was Golbat. Golbat is a really annoying big mouth bat, but GLIGAR is basically the same thing, but like a scorpion cooler version. He's basically what Golbat should be. At number 9 on the list, we have POLITOED. Why do we have this one? I'm so confused why we needed another evolution. We had Poliwag, super adorable. Then we had Poliwhirl, your Mario, as I mentioned, really cool middle level Pokemon, one of the best in the game. Then we have Poliwrath, the badass, the cool guy who's gonna break necks, stack checks, break tables. Then you get this guy by giving Poliwhirl a King's Rock. We didn't need this, we really didn't. It looks like a lesser version of Poliwhirl. I don't know, I'd rather have Poliwrath. The whole concept for Slowking is really dumb. The fact that like all of a sudden he's smart, sentient, and can talk, as evidenced by the Pokemon movies.
Lots of people saw what you did out there, and all of them are watching you right now.
What are you doing? I don't like this. The whole thing with Slowpoke and Slowbro is they're dumb, but they're psychic somehow. It's kind of like they're stupid but powerful, kind of like Psyduck. It's that whole concept going, like, that's cool, that's fine. But then all of a sudden he becomes this smart, like, Harvard graduate that can do psychic stuff. I'm out. Like, I'm good. At number 7, we have, once again, another Pokemon that probably shouldn't be in this game, STANTLER. What's going on in this region, I couldn't tell you. We really didn't need it. There was another Pokemon that they added at the same time that has such a better design. It's actually stronger if you're gonna actually use it in the game, because this thing's a piece of garbage. But I honestly like this one instead, Girafarig. Look at the design here. You have like the split thing where like almost like this demon tail on the back half, which they really don't talk too much about in the game, which is, I guess, kind of cool. But like, adorable face, so much stronger, psychic, so much more effective. I'm okay if the Pokemon sucks in general, like if you're not gonna just use it, but like for the lore and just having the Pokemon in the game, that's fine. But I feel like they should have picked, maybe throw him in Ruby and Sapphire in the next generation or something like that. But to have both of those come in at the same time, deer-ish type animals, and to have two of them in one generation, this one does a lot better than the STANTLER. At number 6, we have Smeargle. I think that's how you say it. The artist Pokemon, I suppose, whatever this is, a weird horn, but it's like a dog. I like the fact that his tail is a paintbrush. That was kind of a cool thing. They didn't even invent like paintbrush attacks, like that could have been a thing, but instead it just knows one move and it's copycat. At number 5, we have PILOSWINE. You know, I like Swinub. It's a pig Pokemon. It's fine. It's kind of cute. Runs in the cute, adorable category. This is gross. It's a lot of hair. What's going on here? You can't even see its eyes. I know the previous ones, they're at least closed, but it reminds me of a dog that just has way too much hair. It's just visually not appealing. I just never found the appeal for this Pokemon. At number 4, the only reason why this Pokemon is in here is because of what it meant in the game. KINGDRA is the final evolution of Seadra. I love visually what's going on here. KINGDRA is just like a badass, like queen, king, like seahorse. Like, I get it, it's a strong design, but KINGDRA like signified if you could beat KINGDRA, it was the last Pokemon Claire had in the 8th gym. So if you could beat her, you could get onto the Elite Four. I had so much trouble growing up trying to beat KINGDRA, and I would have to keep grinding and grinding because Claire's KINGDRA was too strong. So I hate this Pokemon because that freaking took me forever, where I like was so underleveled that KINGDRA would sweep my team. Next up at number 3 is SUDOWOODO. Another Pokemon with a story behind it. I remember as a kid being completely confused as to what to do after you beat the 3rd gym. There's a dancing tree, or what looked like, blocking the way. And I didn't know that you had to go to Whitney, the 3rd gym leader's friend, to get a water bottle that would tick him off, which turned out the tree was a Pokemon. And again, back then, you didn't have the internet. So you just had friends, if they had gotten to that point, they would tell you, hey, that's actually a Pokemon. But you didn't think, oh, a Pokemon could be a tree. I remember, no pun intended, but being stumped at this point of the game, not knowing how to get to the next, like just being stuck. And then finally asking somebody like, hey, you gotta get a water bottle, you gotta irritate this MFer, get him, and he was like a little over leveled. And on top of that, it's like Mr. Mime if he was a tree. He's very creepy. And my number 2 Pokemon from Generation 2 that I really don't like, WOBUFFET. If you watch the show, at some point, Jenny and James, who are on Team Rocket, get this Pokemon, and all it does, I mean, most Pokemon, they say their name in their cry, or like Pikachu, like Pikachu, Pikachu, like that's all they say is their name. This annoying Pokemon, oh my gosh, I'll show you what I'm talking about, because my voice doesn't do it justice. There's a 7-minute video of just all kinds of shenanigans WOBUFFET gets into. It's the fact that he would say his name like so weirdly and like high pitched. I think that's what got me out of watching the Pokemon series growing up. And my number 1 most hated Pokemon from Generation 2 is MILTANK. I think for almost every single person that played Pokemon Silver, Crystal, Gold, all of the Pokemon games for Generation 2, had so much trouble with the 3rd gym because this guy would re-heal himself all the time. Whitney's strongest Pokemon. When he starts rolling out, he's gonna sweep your entire team. And that's what got so frustrating, is rollout doubles damage, I think, like every single turn. So you'll go do a little bit of damage, then a little bit more damage, and then a lot of damage, and then half your health, and then you're gone. And it keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And so I think this Pokemon in the 3rd gym gave me the most trouble in the entire game, and thus, MILTANK, you loser, you garbage Pokemon, are my number 1 most hated Pokemon in Generation 2. Stay safe out there. Until next time, it's been your boy Ryan. Peace!